here with my buddy Paul Gilbert from back in the GIT years. When did you go to GIT?
I showed up in 1984.
A prophetic year.
It was a wonderful year. It was besides amazing teachers like yourself, some of the students were really awesome. Jimmy Herring was there.
Yeah.
The son of Jeff Buckley was there.
Right, yeah.
And just all kinds of amazing people. Mm-hmm. So I was really happy to go there and learn what a dominant chord was.
Once and for all.
I grew up listening to punk and heavy metal, so any kind of seventh.
Yeah. Chords with numbers on them, I think, are basically taboo.
That was a real eye-opener, an ear-opener.
Yeah, really. Yeah, I remember, learning not only the dominant chord, the dominant seventh, but the dominant ninth and the dominant 13th. And then they would say, well, you can, of course, you can interchange them. And I'd say, what do you mean? It's like, that doesn't make any sense. Or how do you know when you can? And the whole thing just seemed overwhelming. And
so I've got a quick question.
Yeah. Okay.
Which is, I've been trying to remember the name of the funk teacher, because that's where I learned the dominant ninth.
Was it Dwayne Dale?
Dwayne, yeah.
Dwayne Dale, yeah.
I've been down to YouTube him because he was a really great funk teacher, but I couldn't remember his last name.
Yeah. D-E-Y-O, yeah.
D-E-Y-O. Y-O, Dale. Oh, that's right.
Dale.
Okay.
Dwayne Dale.
Yeah, I don't know if he's on YouTube, but I got to check him out.
I have no idea. Yeah, he notoriously borrowed the MI van and crashed it on a wild weekend, and that was never seen or heard from again.
Oh, man.
I'm not saying there was a connection, but anyway, I think he was from back east. Yeah, he was from back east somewhere, and Actually, last night I was watching a thing on TV, which was very cool. It was an interview with Nile Rodgers.
Yeah.
And Nile Rodgers,
producer,
he came up as a musician, achieved his first notoriety with the band Chic, and Chic was they ruled the disco airwaves. And then he segued into being a producer, and he was playing some of his sort of, which I can't even, it's so smooth and so, he dissects the notes so cleanly, it's frightening, But he talked about segueing into producing David Bowie and things like that, and how he applied his knowledge, and he was a very knowledgeable guy. He knew his harmony, he knew the chord structures, he knew how to arrange, and how he could sort of take that. He said David Bowie, who did the Let's Dance record in 1982 or 83, was a huge record.
Which is, Let's Dance, the first chord in that is one of those...
Yeah, exactly.
One of those dominant sus chords.
Yeah.
And it's I think it's in G sharp, because I learned it once.
Exactly, yeah.
I couldn't believe how tricky the chords were.
Exactly. And what struck me, the reason I brought it up, is that Nile said that David told him that he wanted to do a record that was like jazzy.
Yeah.
Right? And so, and at the same time, he wanted to have a hit. So it's like, okay, we have two competing concepts here, jazz and a hit record.
Well, Steely Dan did it.
Yeah, they did in their own way. But Nile talked about how he kind of evolved David Bowie's strumming on an open string, guitar chords into a song like Let's Dance by applying his knowledge of chords and kind of stripping it down. He kept taking stuff away, and eventually he came down to something that rocked but had this kind of subtlety to it, which was very cool. And that's what I hear, sort of getting around to the subject of blues. That's what always struck me about blues, is that it's as deep as you want to go, but it's also very straight up. It's very simple, very accessible. And when you hear a great blues musician, you're hearing jazz. It's just that the jazz has been kind of focused and stripped down in a way that people can dance to it, as opposed. And jazz used to be dance music.
That's true.
Like
I've been listening a lot to Artie Shaw lately.
And
he had all the hot girls.
On and off stage.
I've read his biography, and he was with everybody amazing, all the actresses.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
So that swing, it's got something.
Yeah. And musicians, I mean, saying this to an audience that's probably younger, there was a time when musicians were considered stars. Like instrumentalists were considered stars. The trumpet player was a star.
The clarinet guy,
clarinetist, Benny Goodman.
The
the clarinetist was the king of swing, Benny Goodman. And the guitar player, Charlie Christian, He was the first electric guitar star. When they brought out the electric guitars, I think it was around 1936. You could walk into a store and say, "Hey, man, what's that?" You know, and it was a Gibson ES 125, and you got the amp and the guitar, and nobody knew what to do with it, you know, because it was like okay, it sounds like a loud acoustic, I guess.
You can't blow in it.
Yeah, yeah, I know. And so Charlie Christian listened to horn players and sort of figured out how to translate that onto the guitar neck. Unbelievably talented musician. But, you know, he was playing swing that was also dance music with a very sophisticated quality to it. And some of what they did was 3-chord stuff. You know, a lot of it had other changes, but it was built around that basic, just that underlying groove. Let's play something. What key?
What key? Well, I'm going to start with a confidence builder and do A.
Key of A. That's a classic, an all-time classic. Just a half step down from B flat, which of course is
the horn key.
A far better key. But yeah, A is acceptable.
Yeah, it's good for guitar players.
Yeah, we have the dots, and so you can orient yourself to the
and
dots.
You get a little room up, you get a little room down.
Yeah, and if you get lost altogether, there's always that string down there that you can fall back on. So let's play a 12-bar blues in A.
Okay, now does it go to the 4 right away?
Which we would refer to as the quick change in our musician
lingo. Okay, I didn't know the name of it, so I learned something already.
They call it the quick change or the fast change, or they don't say anything most of the time, and you just have to listen and figure out what the bass player's doing.
Yeah, I got no bass players, so I got to find out.
Yeah, let's go to the 4-chord, and we'll sort of make it like a groovy shuffle, like. Go ahead now. Oh, mercy. Oh, yeah. Go ahead. Oh, yeah. Take one more. Good God!
Oh, yeah.
Have mercy. Ladies and
Fantastic.
gentlemen, right here on our stage. Yeah.